That's freaking interesting, man. That's freaking interesting.
What's up, guys? Welcome to That's Fucking Interesting. That's fucking interesting. My name is Kirk Anthony, the Intercontinental Kirk Anthony. This episode is trusty board. Understanding bodybuilding. How muscle grows for aesthetic goals, aka changing the way you look. Those are eyes, not boobs. But boobs are cool, right? Boobs are pretty cool. Okay. So we're going to talk about bodybuilding because most people who are going to the gym and most goals in our society for achieving a more flattering body, an athletic looking body, to some a more attractive looking body, not to everybody, but to some people. If you're trying to lose weight, lose fat, these are all bodybuilding goals. Okay, this happens from weight training, watching your diet, low cardio. This is part of the bodybuilding concept. If you are trying to tone up and get more defined, if you are trying to get bigger, you're trying to put on some muscle for men, you're trying to grow your arms, grow your chest, whatever. If you are trying to lose weight or lose belly fat, if you want an athletic looking body, you are bodybuilding. That is bodybuilding. So let's just begin with that, okay? You're bodybuilding. You are a bodybuilder. If your goal is to change the way you look, you are bodybuilding. These are aesthetic goals. If you're a power lifter, you're a weight lifter. Your goals aren't to look a certain way. Your goal is to perform a certain way. A CrossFitter, their goals are performance-based, not aesthetic or how they look. A football player would be more of a weight lifter. A power lifter is lifting weights. The goal is to lift the weight. A bodybuilder, the goal is to build the body. So there's a different set of rules for these two pathways. They don't have the same results. There may be a little bit of a physical change on the weightlifting side. There may be some strength and endurance progressions on the bodybuilding side, but our goal as a bodybuilder is to change the way that you look. Now that you know you're a bodybuilder, there are some keys. There are some keys to bodybuilding success. That's my key right there. Not the best artist, but I did the best I could. That's all we can ask. Keys to bodybuilding success. Number one, nutrition is king. If you're not watching your nutrition, you're a weightlifter. If you're in the gym and you don't know what your macros are, you're not on a specific nutrition plan, you're not on a nutrition strategy, you are a weightlifter. You are not a bodybuilder. A bodybuilder, nutrition is king. Okay? Weights are queen. Weights are second to nutrition. Important. You're not going to do shit without weights. But nutrition is what makes you a bodybuilder. Form matters. And I'll put an asterisk. For some people, it all depends. Okay? Some people naturally can activate the muscles they need to activate. Some people have a really good coordination and a mind-muscle connection, and they can lift in a certain way that activates, the muscles they're trying to target. Still, I would say form matters for a bodybuilder to shape your body the way you want it to shape, so that you're not working muscles that you don't really want to work that are going to change the way your physique looks. Rest is critical. A lot of people try to do too much. They try to, you might, if you watch my stories, you see I'm always talking about working every day and no days off, and I kind of make fun of it. You know, I'm sarcastic, but I'm trying to make a point that working out every day is not necessarily conducive to your results. The muscle needs rest to grow. When you go to the gym and you're lifting weights, you're putting in an order. Okay, the order is not being fulfilled at the gym. You're breaking down the muscle here, and when you go home and you follow your nutrition plan and you rest, that muscle recovers and builds, and that's when you start to get the payback from your workout, is from the rest. So neglecting rest prolongs or even will sabotage your results. Not say that you won't get any results. Some people will still get results. Some people say, I never take a day off, but they may be getting rest somewhere else. I don't know what kind of sleep they're getting. Just know, rest is critical for a bodybuilder. Your joints don't have the same blood flow as a muscle. A muscle's filled with veins and filled with blood. It recovers faster. Your joints don't have the same vascularity, so they're not getting the same nutrition from your blood. That's where all your nutrition, that's how your body heals, is from your blood, right? Your joints don't have that. So hitting your body, hitting your joints every single day, you cause wear on your body, it will possibly hinder or have a negative effect on your sessions. And maybe some cardio. Maybe. We're not depending on cardio for our fat loss. We're depending on our metabolism and our muscle for fat loss. You can sprinkle in some cardio. If you're doing a show and you need to get, to an extremely low body fat, you may need to do more cardio. But it's at the bottom of the list. Okay? You can't cheat the system when it comes to bodybuilding. You can't cheat your body. Okay? If you're training naturally. You can't rush it. It takes time. It's somewhat of a slow process. And I know you want to see results immediately. And if you do everything right, you can see results immediately within a week, but they're small. It's like very difficult, to see with the naked eye. You can't overdo cardio or overdo the weights or overdo the nutrition and get faster results. Your body is going to build at whatever pace it builds, and in general, it's a very slow pace. It's a big investment for a small return. You might look at bodybuilding like growing a plant, okay? Let's see if I can get you a better vision, a better view of my plant. Okay, so take this plant here. This plant, growing this plant is just like bodybuilding, okay? You need a specific environment for this plant to grow optimally, okay? You need a certain amount of water, you need a certain amount of sunshine, you may need a certain amount of food, you need rich soil, right? And if you do everything right, it grows barely noticeable. Every day it's growing, but you barely can see it. And after maybe a month, you see a little sprout, right? It starts to come out a little bit. You're like, it's growing. After maybe a month, right, of consistent application of the components needed to grow this plant. Now, this plant this is an iris, and it came with some specific directions, okay? How to take care of me. Keep me out of direct sunlight. Water me sparingly until I flower. Then keep my soil moist. After my flowers fade, remove them and let the foliage die naturally. After blooming, store me in a cool, dry place. Plant me in early fall in a nice sunny spot in the garden, so I will flower again next spring. These are specific instructions for this plant to grow optimally. And as it grows, it's growing super fucking slow. You can't put more sunlight on it and make it grow faster. You can't overfeed it so that it grows faster. You can't over water it because it will drown. You'll actually end up killing it. You can't put it in direct sunlight. You can't leave it in the sun too long. You can't put too much water where it's drowning and just keep watering and watering and watering. You got to give it time. You got to give it a specific amount of sun, a specific amount of food, a certain type of soil, and keep the soil a certain amount of hydration, right? You got to give it specific instructions. That's the same with bodybuilding. You can't rush it. You can't stay, I'm gonna go 2 times a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, and get faster results. It doesn't work like that. You can't overfeed yourself. You can't underfeed yourself. You gotta do a specific amount of each, a specific balance to create an environment conducive for optimal growth. And if you do everything right, your body grows this much. And over time, if you've done everything right consistently over time, then you start to see the results. And you'll look back to a year and say, wow, look how I looked a year ago. Wow, look how I looked 2 years ago, 5 years ago, a decade. This is a slow process. And you do there's specific things that you have to do correctly to get optimal results, to get the fastest results you can, which are still very slow. Now, in bodybuilding, and just your body period, muscle is directly linked to your metabolic rate. Your metabolic rate is directly linked to fat loss, okay? So building more muscle increases your fat loss, okay? Now, to increase your muscle mass, you need to eat in a surplus of calories. Now, a surplus of what? Your metabolic rate is where you are now. Wherever you are now, you have whatever your metabolic rate is to keep you where you are right now. Let's say it's 2,000 calories. In order to grow more muscle, bigger muscle, larger mass muscle, you need to eat in a surplus of calories to your current metabolic rate. Your current metabolic rate is your maintenance. You need to eat more than that in order for your body to grow, okay? If your goal is to put on size and you're doing fucking jump ropes and you're doing all this cardio and you're not eating too much because you don't want to lose your abs, you're not in the optimal environment for muscle growth. You're probably maintaining. Some days you might be growing and some days you're cutting, and basically you're staying the same, and that's why you've been looking the same your whole fucking life. If you're cutting, you need to eat in what's called a deficit. If you're in a deficit and you're trying to cut, you're not going to grow size on your muscle. You can grow muscle density, more muscle fibers, but you're not going to grow the mass of the muscle. You cannot bulk and cut at the same time. I'm going to fuck what nobody tells you. Okay? Natural. Not a natural human being. You cannot. It's impossible. Hold on. So years and years ago, when I first started working out and I didn't understand how the body worked, I didn't understand the nutrition. I knew I had to eat. I knew I had to get calories in. I kind of understood protein. I didn't really understand. I understand I needed carbs, but I didn't really understand it all. I thought that just lifting the weights alone is going to make the muscle build bigger. A lot of women think that. They don't want to lift weights because they don't want to get bigger. Well, if you're not eating in a surplus of calories, you're not going to get bigger, no matter how hard you try. Fellas, if you're trying to get bigger and you're not eating in a surplus of calories, you're not going to get bigger. Now, the shape of that muscle may change. It may look more round. You may have lost some fat as a byproduct of just being in the gym, and you're not tracking your calories, you're not tracking your nutrition. Your body may just be in a deficit or may be in a surplus, but it's all, you're gambling with the results. You might just have a little bit of change just from doing absolutely nothing to doing something. You might get some change just based on your current diet and your current habits. But at a certain point, it's gonna stop. And you're just gonna kind of look the way you look, and you're gonna plateau, okay? When you're bodybuilding, you're on a strategic plan. And every time your body starts to plateau, you have a response to it. So if you're not growing anymore, you're gonna eat more. If you're trying to cut and you're not cutting anymore, you're gonna have to increase your activity possibly, or cut your calories. It has a response for each of those to keep the results coming. If you're just lifting weights, your body is not necessarily going to grow or shape just because you're lifting weights. That's why I think a lot of people for years and years and years will get stuck in a routine thinking they're going to get the same results that they did like maybe the first couple of months of working out, and pretty much they're going to be looking the same for the rest of their bodybuilding career if they're not tracking their calories, they're not tracking their growth and their progress. If they're not having on a specific plan, they're gonna probably just look about the same and be about as strong as they're gonna get. Okay, maybe within a few pounds. Okay. So a lot of people think like the longer, how long is it gonna take? You might ask a guy, you might ask a big guy in the gym, say, how long did it take you? Well, I've been working out since I was 13. You're like, oh fuck, man, it's gonna take me 2 decades to look like this guy. Not necessarily. Okay, you may not even get any bigger than you are now if you're not following a specific strategy. How long is it going to take to get abs? That depends on you. Are you following a specific strategy? Are you doing the things needed to produce that result? I just had a guy who had a belly and was a runner, and 7 weeks later he won a bodybuilding competition. Now he did have a background of weight training and bodybuilding, but the point of the matter is that body fat can be gone within weeks if you're doing the right things and you're plugging in the right components. Okay? So let's recap. Bodybuilding, nutrition is king. Weight training is second. Form matters. Rest is critical. Maybe some cardio. Okay? It's a slow process, like growing a plant. It takes time. Be patient. Take pictures. Track your progress. Get measured. Get with a coach or a nutritionist, somebody with some experience, and follow the program exactly and expedite your results. Stop gambling with your results. Thank you for tuning in. Follow me on Instagram. Please subscribe to this channel. Share the channel. Like the video. And maybe even contact me and let me know if there's any other topics you want me to cover. That's fucking interesting, man. That's fucking interesting.
That's interesting, man. That's freaking interesting.